Hello, I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Letty, and we are at Lancaster University asking students and academics about their views on the recent age verification about porn that has not been implemented because of the backlash.
So the porn ban came in under the Digital Economy Act of 2017. It was sort of talked about previously, sort of in 2014, but basically it's age verification for under 18-year-olds to access online pornography. You'd have to go to a news agent or via sort of like a third-party online service to prove that you were over 18. So we asked a couple of people about this, just really their feelings about it, whether they're worried about internet privacy and safety.
Of itself, I don't have a huge problem with in a sense, about the porn ban, mainly because I don't think it would be effective in the first place. I do believe that porn can be harmful, particularly for young people, but not in a kind of direct copycat kind of way as it's often set out. But actually, I think what it does is reinforce ideas of the way men and women should have sex together and how that should work.
From the interviews we've conducted, it seems like there's two main focuses on this. The first one would be that the issue doesn't really lie in porn of itself, but more like in the lack of sex education, which pushes people to use porn for education.
Yeah, I'm for it because I think at a younger age it gives people a bad perception of what sex is really like, so I think being for age of 18 is best.
Right, I am for the ban because it does significant damage to the brain. You should read a book called Gary Wilson's Your Brain on Porn.
I really agree with that the government should restrict people, especially the young people, to watch porn, because I think it might bring some negative effect to teenagers' mental health.
I have to say I don't quite get the notion of protecting the innocence of young people. I don't think, because that kind of implies that sex is somehow not innocent, or something that we should be concerned about in its own right, which I don't accept. But I think porn kind of is all about male pleasure. So even when when there's pleasure for women in porn, it's a product of male expertise, but it's also, porn is all about the kind of final kind of ejaculation shot for men. So men's pleasure is what defines it. And that for me is problematic as a way of understanding sex. What we should be trying to do with young people is equipping them to deal with the world that they're in, and that world is full of sexualized images. It's full of ways of or suggestions about how we should dress, how we should have sex, who we should have sex with. I don't see that we can particularly control that environment. I think what we can do is try and equip young people to manage that. So for me, I don't think it's about banning porn. It's about having conversations with young people about porn and saying, actually, this is what porn represents.
There are two sides of it, and you might look at it from two different perspectives, because people who are underage and watch porn might draw some weird, distorted ideas from porn, and that might impact how they perceive sex in the future, because as we all know, porn doesn't always represent reality. But then again, if someone doesn't really get appropriate sex education in school, maybe they don't even have sex education at school at all, then porn is the way to learn about sex.
So I think it's probably a bad idea. I think education's far better than some authoritarian bloc, and probably education will do a lot more to protect children than something that in the end won't work.
The second one would be the problem with privacy, as not many are comfortable with the government knowing exactly what porn they watch, and also how the data might be used by other companies.
There are issues of privacy about, actually, once you start to say we can restrict what it is that people are allowed to watch, then somebody has to decide what those things are, and I will be quite concerned about how those decisions are made about what it is as individuals we're allowed to see and not see.
It is just a restriction in freedom of speech. You are, in a sense, placing in an idea of truth that there is a certain way of committing a sexual act within your own house, something that you do between another partner, and by removing it from online, you're removing that information.
Everyone has the freedom to watch, to choose what they would like to watch online.
I feel like the government can use it to track people on the internet.
I believe it is the removal of free speech, and it actually represses sexual desires from a young age.
It's kind of an invasion of privacy, so
I'm worried about what outside companies might do with data provided, because I know that the UK government wants to sort of give all our data to MindGeek, and I'm not really comfortable with that.
I certainly think it'll come back. I think the debate is getting more and more polarised. Actually, I think we have certainly in the time I've been working around pornography, I think we're getting more and more of a kind of divide between those people who think that pornography is inherently problematic and dangerous to young people, those people who think it's actually harmless. I'd probably sit somewhere in the middle of that, but I think that debate's getting more and more polarised, and I also think there's a more and more interest in government, particularly, about how we control what people are watching. So whether that's pornography or whether it's kind of stuff around radicalisation or whatever, there's a sense that somehow we should be controlling the information that people get, and I think that's, for me, that's always the wrong way around. We should give people more information and trust that they'll make the right decisions.
Now that you've seen this,
What are your thoughts on it?